everybody, it's Allison. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you all have been doing well. Today we are going to be stretching our supplies, specifically the Spellbinders February large die of the month. So you remember a couple videos back, I was obsessed with these bunnies, and I still am. So I had a lot of fun making this card. As soon as I saw this new product, I knew what I was going to do with it. This is the flower cart die set, new from Spellbinders in February. And here are just some of the pieces that I'll be using, but you'll see all the dies at the top. So my first thought really was that the bunny was going to be selling carrots. But I soon abandoned that idea because I saw the eggs and thought it would be cute if he was selling the eggs. And this little pail or bucket that comes with the flower cart set, I'm going to put the carrots in the bucket. So the bucket has this little back part that makes it look rounded, but I am just going to trim this down so that it looks like the carrots are inside the bucket. You know that I love making dies my own, so that's kind of what I'm going to do with it. Again, the bucket comes with the flower cart set. All right, for the bunny's overalls, I'm using this old Tim Holtz textile surfaces. You might remember that I used this for the overalls on the scarecrow this past fall. And for the little pockets on the overalls, this is just washi tape that I already put around the other pocket. So I just lifted it up and put it around this pocket and just taking a little bit of distress ink just to accent those pockets. And for the pieces for the flower cart, I want them to look like wood. So I'm just taking some vintage photo distress ink and ink blending this craft colored cardstock. Now I am going to put each of these pieces on top of a second piece that I have cut with brown cardstock. You're not going to really see the brown, but if you do, it just kind of provides a little bit of a shadow. So now I can start assembling the card and it goes together really easily. Just these three pieces go on the bottom. Now the top I had cut from the little awning, I guess you'd call it. I had cut the stripes in gray. I wasn't really sure at the time where I was going, so you will see later on I'd come in with a different color. And there's these little center pieces for the wheels. All right, so for the bucket, I'm just gonna kind of arrange my carrots the way I want them, and then I can hold them in place and tape them all together. That way I know how I want them glued in there. So once I glued in the bottom carrots, I can just add that last one in there. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the handle. All right, so this is the Stitch and Dots Scallop Borders. This is new as well in the same collection as the flower cart. And there's these two dies in here that cut this border, but this border is not long enough for my card. By the way, my card is 5 by 7 to accommodate both the flower cart and my bunny. So I'm going to make it long enough by doing partial die cutting. You've seen me do this a lot. I'm going to make a first pass, and I'm not covering up the whole die with my top plate because I don't want it to cut the original length of the die. I want to make it longer. So there's my first partial die cut. And now I'm going to turn it around. And because this has a regular pattern, the scallop pattern, I can just kind of snap the die into place on the die cut. And you can't really see it on camera, but I'm moving my fingers back and forth as soon as I feel it is in position, and then I'm just going to tape it to make sure it doesn't move. Now again, I'm not going to cover the end of it with my top plate because I don't want it to ruin the die cut that I've already made. So anything under the top plate is going to cut. Anything not under it will not cut. So here we go. Here is this long piece that I created. And you'll never know that it wasn't that long to begin with. All right, I have this fat, big brush from Spellbinders and some Distress Oxide. And I'm taking my white card panel and I'm just adding some soft blending here. I want it to kind of look like sky, but I didn't want a solid light blue background. I just really want enough of this light blue on there so that my white bunny stands out. And this brush is great for just getting a really soft overall blend. All right, so I told you that I was going to replace the gray stripes, and I decided to go with my favorite color, turquoise. So this piece has 3 pieces, the white base, the blue stripes, and then this piece on the top that again, I added a brown base to just to give it a little bit of dimension. All right, the clouds are from the landscape edges. I think I introduced that in my last video, that die set that also has a hill. And it also has some grass, but the grass die kind of has a hill to it. And I wanted this grass to be flat, which is why I'm using this scallop border. All right, now I glued it on a little bit lower than my panel, so I'm just going to take my trimmer and trim off the excess. And it's really easy with the guillotine trimmer. All right, so there's my panel. Now, there are dies in the flower cart set that make a sign, but I am using this Be Bold lowercase alphabet to make my own sign. So this white piece there comes with the set. And by the way, I'm going to use this Postage collage stamp set from Waffle Flower to add the 50 cents. But so this white shape on the cart comes with the set, and so I'm just making my own little sign. So once I figured out where I wanted that 50 cents stamped, I can go ahead and grab my Misty, and my grip mat is in there so that my paper doesn't move. And now I can just go ahead and add my letters. Now, the G's in this alphabet are quite fancy. I don't know if the bunny needed that fancy of an alphabet, but this was the right size alphabet, so that's what I went with. And now I'm just adding a couple pieces of paper to the back of the cart. I didn't want to add foam tape to the back because the wheels are already going to be lifted up quite a bit. So I just added some paper back there. Now I'm cutting the bottoms here because I want the wheels to hide the bottom of this sign. So again, I'm just making things my own. Just because they come a certain way with the die set doesn't mean that you can't change them. So now I can glue this on there. And by the way, the reason I wanted the cart popped up a little bit is so that I could tuck my eggs in. Now to start gluing to the panel, I am starting with the top. I'm going top down here. So I glued that awning basically to the clouds. And I glued my wheels onto the cart. And you'll see those 2 pieces of white cardstock that I put on the back of the cart. They don't go all the way up. And that's because I wanted to be able, again, to tuck my eggs in there. And I'm also going to tuck these pieces in there. I didn't really have a great way of adding these because I wanted to add the bottom of the cart first. So I had to kind of maneuver those top pieces in there. And see how the eggs just tuck in there. All right, now for the bunny, I want him to be holding a carrot. So again, I am adapting this arm. I'm just cutting it the way that I need it to look the way I want it. And once I have it on there the way I like it, I'm just going to tape it in place. And then I'm going to add just a little piece of paper under there. You're never going to see it, but I need something to glue this arm down to. So here I am just gluing that down, and once that's done, I can slip in this little carrot. And now I can glue on the other arm, and for this arm I'm going to have it raised in the air because he is so proud of his cart. So here is the final card. There's that birdie that I used on all my cards before. I love this bird. Now on the wheels, I added these little screws from the Tim Holtz hardware heads set, and I think they look pretty cool there. And I added some eggs on the ground. Now, and I'll show you the final picture in a second, but I wanted to revisit this bunny because in my last video on the bunnies, you'll see that I was going to make him dance, but I didn't like how the legs were dancing outside of the shorts, basically. So I told you in my last video that I think I had figured out what I was going to do, and so I wanted to show you. So I'm just positioning the shorts where I would want them on the legs, and now I'm taking a pencil where to cut where the hole in the legs are. And remember, the hole in the legs is what makes the die dance. So now that I have that all matched up, I can go ahead and glue the shorts directly to the legs. Now you'll remember that in my last video, I glued the shorts to the bottom of the bunny, not to the legs themselves, but to the top of the bunny. So now I'm just gluing it to the legs, and I'm attaching this shirt. And I will say, if you want the legs to be dancing with the shorts, I think it does best with this little shirt / dress. Now I'm putting my foam dot in the hole. And if I were actually making a card, I would put a foam dot underneath the rest of the bunny, foam underneath the rest of the bunny to make it level. But here I just wanted to show you how now when it dances, the shorts go with the legs, and it totally makes sense now. And I will finish a card at some point with that bunny. But for now, I am just going to show you the final picture of my scene with the bunny and his egg cart. And the only thing I can say is, wouldn't it be nice to find eggs that are 50 cents these days? Lucky bunny, right? That is it for me today. Quick video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give me a thumbs up, please. And don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you being here as always, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.